Well, I lied to you. I didn't get right back to you. It was getting a little dark out, and I had to go visit Amy in the hospital with the baby. So I decided that early Monday morning we would get this finished on New Year's Eve. Got a little something special coming for you in form of a year-end video, which you might find interesting. So I'm going to run through the babies. I'm going to go through them as quick as I can. Obviously, I don't want to be too long with them. You saw how they went the other day. A lot of real professionals here in the barn. A lot of horses didn't get a chance to go because we haven't had them gated up yet. We're going to try and get a set of them ready for you to just to view, to see what we have coming up behind these horses in the next few weeks. A few of them are Ontario bred, so they're not really behind, right on schedule of where we want to be in the new year. Now, there were some notable horses. We're going to go right through them alphabetically. Ailsun. I thought Ailsun looked incredible the other day. This is a filly that we bought with OCDs in her hocks. Her hocks were a little filled up. We took those OCDs out, and man, oh man, she looks awesome right now. Jason was very impressed with her. Big, strong filly. She got a big, powerful gait on her. Really interested to see. Obviously, we're going to have to keep working on those hocks. When they blow up like that and they fill out, it's almost like they stretch the actual hawk out, and to get that cleaned out even after the surgery takes quite a while. In comparison to a horse like Run Versatile, we started back with her. There's no swelling in her hocks, and there never was to begin with. I'm not really sure if there's any issues pertaining to that. I think it's just something they learned to go with. Lots of horses have boggy hocks, as horsemen would call them. There's nothing wrong with Ailsun's hocks now, just a matter of working them, getting them stronger, and have those hocks tighten up. So I'm sure that'll happen in the coming weeks and months. She looked great the other day going. Another horse looked fantastic was Anteros. Jason went with that colt also. I've been talking about Anteros for a while. Jason said, what a nice horse. He said, you just move him and stop him and move him. Just so smart. And he is. He's getting it, he understands it, and he's having a lot of fun out there. You can tell the horses that are having fun on the track, the ones that keep moving, but they seem to understand their work. It's because they're having fun. Look at a horse like Fusspot. She moved like a 4-year-old the other day, 3 or 4 times. You just stop her. She, instead of being frustrated and wiry and goofy, like she was the day I went with her by herself, you could tell she was wired for sound that day. And then you look at her a few weeks later, she's figured it out. She's actually having fun on the racetrack. That's when they learn the most. When their stress level's down and they're having fun, they really, really learn. And Anteros falls into that category also, having a lot of fun right now, that colt. Arctic Force looked great. This is a big, heavy colt. I'd said to Danny today, I said, just want to always constantly keep an eye on this guy. He's big, he's powerful, and he hits the ground hard, which a lot of good horses do, but we want to make sure we don't push too hard with this guy, and we give him the time when he needs it. There's going to be time this winter when we're going to have to slow down with this guy, back off, and immediately we need to pay very close attention to all the signs that are coming from Arctic Force. No issues, no problems at all, but have to be aware that this is one big, heavy colt. So Arctic Force looked great the other day. Geez, he really, really plowed into his gait really good. When Danny moved him a couple of times, I thought he looked fantastic, and Danny's very, very happy with him. Our thought process with this colt was to actually geld him, because he is so big, was to actually geld him a few weeks ago. And Danny, who has never been a proponent of keeping any horse intact, came to me and said, can we just wait and not geld this guy? I got no reason to geld him. If you don't want to geld him, we won't geld him. So Arctic Force still a stud and is going to remain that way for quite a ways, it appears. A horse that probably made the biggest gains, maybe outside of Festpot, was a horse named Beach Boutique. Beach Boutique, for those of you watching on open house day, a little rough around the edges, wasn't she? She was a little goofy, acting up, really didn't want to do her work, and was really frustrated on the track. And then we worked with her a week. I trained her before we went on the drone, maybe a few days before. She looked great, and looked great again the other day at the drone, moving, stopping, and attacking. And quite an improvement. And this is the favorite time of the, one of my favorite times of the year, is watching these horses progress. watching them from open house day when they look rough around the edges to drone day 2 weeks later when they look like Beach Boutique did. You really like to see that progression. Beach Bum BB, again, came out swinging the other day. She's a little timid, a little flighty, a lot like Pine Creek was, still is, but eager to do her work, and she can really pace. And Beach Bum BB looked good after we'd finished Upper Mile. You saw Danny, he looked over and he said, "We all done?" And I said, "Yeah," and he tapped her on the tail and she was gone immediately and looked really, really good doing it. This is a filly that had some issues with the virus when we switched barns. She was in the top barn, we swapped her out with a horse and sent her down to Danny, and Danny's done a great job with her, and she looks really, really good. You can hear that I'm stuffed up also still. Bend Over, much, much better over the last few weeks. I had told you the issue that we had with Bend Over was he paddles out a little bit. Not the end of the world. The problem is with trotters, you add a little weight to them to get them to trot. So Bend Over was making breaks. We put the trotting hobbles on them and added weight. But as those horses paddle out, so you'll see some horses trot over cleanly and strike the ground. Some horses come close to their knee or up over their knee like Mischief Maker. Some horses paddle out. Well, they're never going to hit their knees or interfere, but when they paddle out, it's a tiring process if you got a lot of weight on them and then hobbles on them tight. So as we were putting the tighter hobbles on Bend Over and putting the lots of weight and heavier hobbles on him, he was getting tired. And we lightened him up front, took all the weight off him up front, and let him do his work, and he's actually understanding what he's supposed to do now. Looked much better the other day. Light years better than how he looked just 3 weeks before. He looked really bad. So Bend Over, you see him now starting to progress. That's the whole point, is to get them in that comfort zone, and then once their confidence starts to build, you see them progress. And you can see the horses that want to do it and are having fun. Bend Over's right at that hurdle right now where he's starting to understand it. He actually likes it. Now keep an eye on him after the next 2 weeks, and I think you'll see a much better horse in Bend Over. Bottle of Red, she's all business all the time. This is a filly that wears the earplugs. She's a Heston Blue Chip. She can get a little rammy. She can get a little aggressive out there, but looked good the other day. This is a filly that will really benefit from that moving and stopping and moving and stopping. Really teach her what she's supposed to be doing on the track. A lot of those horses that get a little racy and a little rammy, they get caught up in the moment and they don't learn as much as horses like, as I was saying, I was using Fuss Pot as an example. Bottle of Red needs to get comfortable on the track, moving and stopping and moving and stopping, and then you'll see that she'll calm down. She'll understand what she's supposed to do out there. She'll start to have a lot more fun. So this is another role, another reason we do things the way we do with horses just like Bottle of Red. Brush Cut, he's all business all the time, this colt. He's figured it out, and he moves when you ask him to. This is a big, powerful colt. Got a big, rangy gait on him, can really pick up speed quickly. Only concern with this guy, little narrow up front. Will he brush those knees? Maybe. That's why they make knee boots, and lots of horses brush their knees and doesn't really play a negative role in the horse's growth. He hasn't yet. We do wear knee boots on him, but there hasn't been any issues yet. If there's going to be issues, and you got to understand too, is they put muscle on and grow up and fill out, they do in their shoulders also. So as you start a horse that might be a little narrow, might look like they might come to that knee, as they grow up and fill out a little bit, and they widen out and they speed up, sometimes you say, oh, he'll never hit it all, and he won't. So either way, I'm not concerned with Brush Cut right now. Really, really happy with what we've seen in him. This is a colt that's well bred, out of his sister to lather up, and can really, really pace hard on the track. So Brush Cut looks great. Cabernet, she's starting to put that weight on now, and you see her start to get a lot more powerful on the track. They moved her a couple of times the other day, and she was all business. 1 point in the mile, they cleared to the front, and she opened up on them. She gets it. She's having fun, but she's now putting that weight on she needed. It wasn't that she was underfed or something was wrong with her. She was just getting tall. She was going through a big growth spurt, this filly, and starting to thin up a little bit. So we jogged her a little lighter for a week, upped her feed, and now that she's put that probably 30, 40 pounds on that we wanted to see, you can really see a difference on the track. She looked great the other day. Canadian Titan, another horse. You talk about a filly that bounced forward in a big, big way. Canadian Titan, you can see that confidence on the track. She leans into her head check. She's trotting forward. Even on open house day, we had hobbles on her. She was making breaks and acting up and just really frustrated on the track. Now she's starting to get stronger and bigger. She's starting to do her work in a much more confident way, and she looks like the horse we bought her to be so far. Canadian Titan looked great. A horse you haven't seen yet is Capistrano. This is a filly that's starting to go now. This is one of Bob Burgess' horses he dropped off. 3 of them. We didn't go with them the other day because they haven't had the hobbles on yet. I believe today was the first day with the hobbles on. We're going to try and get them in sets for you on Thursday so you can get a look at them. This right here, particularly this filly, I really like her. So Capistrano, we're not going to talk too much about them yet. You can see them on the drone on Thursday. And as I said, we are going to have the drone on Thursday. Curtis is going away for a couple of weeks. I can't leave you guys without a month without seeing your horses. I mean, I could. That's not fair. So, and I want to get to show you some of these horses that I'm talking about. So Capistrano, although this will be the very infancy of this horse's pacing, really, really impressive looking filly, well-bred filly also. So Capistrano is a horse to keep an eye on. We'll talk about 2 other ones coming up also. Cheatin' Dixie, we gave her a week off. We pushed her real hard. She looked great. She's settling really nice to the hobbles. Her knees were bothering her a little bit, so we just light jogging all week. We're going to start her back Thursday in a very slow set and get her confidence back up. This isn't something we weren't projecting or we didn't think would happen. The Dewey, Cheatham, and Howes generally have a weaker set of knees on them, but that's not a big deal. I raced Dancer Hall as a 2-year-old. He was fantastic, and it's just a matter of understanding they're there, understanding where their comfort level is, trying to expand that and work on the knees so that you can train them down in a comfortable manner so that you can get them to the races. If you just pretend they're not there and go slow with them and back off, eventually what you're going to do, you're going to get to where we were already with this filly, and those knees are going to become an issue. You might push forward and end up with lines, cracks, potentially fractures in those knees, and this is why we do things the way we do. And I believe the way we do them, by rooting out those problems early in their training career, we can effectively treat them and combat them and manage them and get them to the races in the best time frame. That doesn't mean that this horse will race it too. I think she will. I think they all will. But what's best for the horse is best for the horse. What's best for the horse is best for the horse. And Cheatin' Dixie is on the right path right now. So she is... she's fine now, and she'll be in a set on Thursday for you. Classic Con always looks good. Mario's pretty protective of this guy. He looked great again the other day. We did castrate him. He's less of a man than he was before, but that's only for his own good. He was getting a little hot. Those Conway Halls, like the Angus Halls, shockingly enough, they can get a little bully and out of control. And once they pass that line, it's really tough to throttle them back. You want to nip that in the bud, so to speak. Nip that in the bud as quickly as you can. And French Twist is an Angus Hall. We're going to castrate him also. The horse that did stay off the castration list is the other Angus Hall, Enduring Strength. He's looked great. A little goofy sometimes, but not quite approaching that concern level that we get with them, where it's, do we move now? Do we castrate them now? So French Twist, Classic Con are horses that are done and are about to be done. Enduring Strength's a horse that's going to stay on that list. Near the bottom of the list, we just keep an eye on them for the next little while. There's nothing wrong with the horses. Just don't want to get them out of control. It's hard for them to learn when they're not listening and they're acting up. And that's the problem, is that we don't want to allow these horses to get past that line of absorbing knowledge because of their attitude on the track, which has a lot to do with their testicles. So French Twist will be gelded, and Classic Con was gelded. Mario was very happy with doing that. You won't see any progression because of that castration probably for about 4 or 5 weeks while that testosterone, a number of it, a large chunk of it leaves their system. Then you'll start to see it. So Classic Con, good the other day, and I expect he'll only get better with time. Classy Will, keep an eye on this guy. He's quietly looking good all the time. He's well bred, looks great, this horse. Mark Isabel's been going with him, and I'll go with him one of these days. I trained him out here 3 weeks ago. I thought he looked great. He looked good again the other day, and I suspect he'll continue to look good. I always like him. He's just got his head down. He's a worker. Just does his work. He's not quite happy to do it just yet, but he's not angry to do it. He just goes out and does it because he's asked to do it. So Classy Will is coming every week, looks better. Compass Rose DC, another filly. Slowly we're chipping away at that rigid exterior of some of these horses, and this is one of them. We'll get to the bottom of Compass Rose DC soon enough, where she likes her work and she enjoys everything about the racetrack, but she's still got that stay away from me type attitude just yet. But she got a beautiful gait on the track, and very, very happy with what I've seen from her. Crazy Mission. It was a horse that we had ready to go a number of weeks, like ready to start training harder. I trained him in 247. He regressed a little bit. He was making a few little breaks. We changed his shoes, worked on his knees. He looked good the other day, going a very, very slow clip. But we're going to throttle him back and keep him at that slow clip. We want his confidence to catch up to him. And once we get that back into him, then we'll move him forward. No issues. It's just a matter of compartmentalizing, so making sure that each horse fits in the right training regimen, not just assuming we're just going to push them all into this one, heading of your training. Every horse is a different comfort level, and we want to make sure that we keep them within that comfort level. So Crazy Mission, we throttled him back a little bit. He was very comfortable and very happy the other day. We're going to keep him in with that group and let him progress in that manner. Don't believe me, just watch. Here's a horse I haven't gone with yet. This is a colt that arrived here. We traded a broodmare for him and blah, blah, blah. And, he's small, but he does his work well. And, I don't give him enough kudos, I guess, because he does actually have a nice gait. When we start to get this guy polished up, I think you're going to see a really good-looking colt. What can he do? I don't know. I mean, he's not a midget. He's not a tiny, tiny horse. He's just small. But He's Watching was a small horse, too. So not really concerned at all with... Don't believe me, just watch. His small stature. He's still a very, very nice horse. Effusive is just a really good horse. And again, we just let one of the riders go with him, because anytime we want to push a button with him, there'll be no issues with Effusive. He's just such a nice trotter, picks up speed quick. He's just knowledgeable beyond his training. He's classy. And you can tell. I mean, you can tell he comes from a good family. He just understands what he's supposed to do with very little training, very little knowledge being given to him. As I said, he's knowledgeable beyond his training. Just a very, very nice horse, beautiful gait, well-bred. No concerns with Effusive at all. Emerald Miss, fast filly. This is she reminds me a lot of her sister that we had, Bourbon and Barley. I had made reference to it the other day during the drone session, and I was very happy with what I saw from Emerald Miss. Pretty hard to fault her. She's a little goofy sometimes and will make the odd break, much like her sister did. But when push comes to shove and the chips are on the table, she's all business. When you put her in gear, she's pacing forward. When she's, beside a horse, she's attacking. And that's what she does. And when she's not, she's goofing off a little bit. She's a little bit of a class clown, but that's okay. I was too. So, Emerald Miss, very, very happy with what I've seen from her. Enjoying my life. Another one. What can you say about her? She does everything right. She's fast. She's tall. She's long. She's just a beautiful filly. And living up to, I believe, the price tag that we shelled out for this filly. Very, very nice filly. Just does everything right. Another one like Effusive. Just no faults, apparently. Moves, sits well, attacks, does everything right. And that's what I want to see, and enjoying my life. I mean, it's pretty obvious on the track that she's amongst the top of the class, and I suspect will stay there for quite a while. Enduring Strength, very happy with him. Yeah, he bounces around sometimes on the track. No concerns from me just yet. The only thing I said to Mario was he is a little short-barreled. He might interfere. He might be a horse that ends up with trotting hobbles on. But for now, we're going to leave him as is because he likes his work. As long as he stays out of that danger zone where he starts hearing his father's voices in his head, we may have to talk about castration at that point, but he's not there yet. He's done everything right. I really, really like what I've seen. When I went with him 2 weeks ago, I trained him. I thought he was really nice. I was really happy with what I saw in Enduring Strength. Excellent Nation. Danny raves about this colt. He told me the other day, Danny very rarely says, hey, can you leave me on this horse, or I want to go with this horse. Danny's pretty good. He understands that I need him to go with some of the horses that I like to go with also, just to get a feel. Danny knows how I want them trained. He knows what we want to do at the stable. He knows how we want to accomplish it, and he's very, very good at that also. So, Excellent Nation, Danny said, can I go with this colt for a while? He really likes him. He's quick. He's fast. He's bully. But he's got a beautiful gait and he's well-bred. So keep your eye on Excellent Nation. This is a colt that Danny loves, a colt that I like. I haven't had a lot to do with him just yet. I went with him a couple of times. I thought he was fine, but Danny really, really likes him. So Excellent Nation. Fox Valley Shazam, we made some shoeing adjustments. You can see she was acting up the other day. Sandra, that works for Mario, was going with her, and she's like, she keeps bouncing around. I told her, I said, hit her a swat in the arse and make her do her work. Don't be gapping off. I want the horse up and moving. So that's the one thing, even Mario, I told him, 2 weeks ago, he went with Knockdown Drag Out, and he kept her back. You're not teaching her anything. every day she was on the track, she doesn't learn something, is a day that we failed her. And we have to make sure these horses get to learn, understand what they're supposed to do. If you saw that big move I made with knockdown drag out, if you take me out of the equation of that training set for a while, take a look how it's set up and how it went. Watch the move that Valley Shazam makes just after knockdown drag out. I thought she looked really, really well. Just playing out there, big bully filly, but really, really looks better since we made those shoeing adjustments on her. Film fanatic, Mario went with him the other day. Not shocking, he loved him. There's a Better's Delight out of his sister to All Bets Off. Very well bred. David Shea owns this colt, and he looked really, really good. Mario had nothing but good things to say about him. He's just doing everything right. A horse that really blew me away was Forged in Fire. I had gone with him about a week before the open house, then he got sick and he missed some time, so I didn't really get a chance to go with him. I went with him the other day. My God almighty, he looks good. He's got that big, powerful Yankee glide gait. You know who he looks like? Go back and look at the videos of Stonebridge Simba last year and take a look at how he maneuvered, how he looked on the track, what he did, and then take a look at Forged in Fire. Forged in Fire looks incredible right now. I was literally blown away. Lord almighty. Bless me. Anyway, Forged in Fire looked incredible the other day, the way he went. I was very, very happy with him. French Twist, again, looked good. Danny went with him kind of in the shuffle the other day. Take your time and go back and look at this colt. Does his work very, very well and looks good doing it. He is a colt that we are going to castrate. He's got that kind of, I dare you to, kind of attitude to him. And, you know, we're going to call his bluff soon enough. We're going to castrate him, and I think he needs to. I feel that he's got that big, bulky look to him, and I think he's just got the attitude where I'm going to do whatever I want, and that's just not going to cut it. So it's not a bad attitude. You know, we could probably train it out of him, but as I said, once they pass that point where, is this becoming a problem? It generally does, and we don't want to fool around with the Angus Halls because, you know, historically, and you can talk to any trainers that have trained an abundance of Angus Halls. Historically, they can become problematic really, really quickly, and it's very difficult to throttle that back. You can castrate them after that point. It still is a problem, and we don't want to get that mindset in this colt because he's clearly got a lot of talent and a beautiful gait. We want to take that added layer of aggression away from him because it's not the good kind. It's the kind that turns into stubbornness, and we certainly don't want that. So French Twist is a horse we're going to castrate this week, but not before we go them on Thursday. Have another look at him. You'll see what I'm talking about. Beautiful gait, nice horse, but he's just got that aura about him, like, you know, go away. And we certainly don't want that. We want to turn them into the best athletes they can be. So we're approaching the 23-minute mark of this video. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to come back for the next set. So I got 3 lines of colts here. I'm going to come back with the second line, cut it off, and come back with the third one. I'm going to try my best to keep it under an hour. We do have 70 horses, 78 babies to talk about. Do the math. It's pretty hard to keep them under 60 minutes. So that's French Twist. We'll be right back in a minute with Frontier Cruise. We're back now. I kind of broke the horses down into like 25 or 26 per line. So at 32 minutes, the videos start to cut off, and then you'll see that choppiness. So I'm going to break them down into sets of 25, groups of 25, give them to you that way, and try and keep them well under that marker. So next we're gonna talk about Frontier Cruise. Here's a horse. You can clearly see this colt's got a lot of power, a lot of talent. You know, I find myself talking favorably about a lot of these horses, but you saw the same videos I did the other day. How can I? I can find good in almost every horse we have. You know, to have this many horses and not have one you're like, I don't know about this one, you know, is pretty incredible, really. Now, there's a couple that I'm a little concerned with their attitudes or their overall output, but that will change along the way. It usually does. But for the most part, very happy with everybody. Certainly happy with Frontier Cruise. This is a colt that has got a big, long gait, big, powerful stride, and a fantastic work ethic. Just a beautiful horse to watch on the track. And again, probably a horse I don't need to go with that much just because he looks that good all the time. So Frontier Cruise, keep your eye on him. I believe he's sold out anyway. I mean, a lot of these horses I'm talking about are sold out. I don't have to come in here and blow any smoke up your butt for the most part. I mean, you guys know, you can see the score on the track. You can see the progression. You can see the speed. You can see the athleticism and what we have built here with this stable, and even its infancy here in December. Now, the first of the year, horse like Frontier Cruise looks great. Fusspot, I talked 8 minutes long the other day about Fusspot, and I could continue to talk. I was floored, absolutely floored, the progression from this filly on open house day, even the week before open house day, up to the drone day the other day. I don't know what happened, what took place in that time frame. She completely changed her attitude. She had a meltdown here the day I went with her by herself, and she trained great, and I said, this is take 2. Take 1 was a complete shit show. She was out of her mind. She was a little crazy, hot, didn't want to do anything I asked her to do. Brought her in, pulled her hobbles in, put a heavier set of hobbles on her, put a more severe bit in her mouth to keep her head up. I like when the horses get their head down, but when they get their head down in that angry way and they're just zinging tight, they're not learning anything. When they're on the track misbehaving, they're not learning. They need to have fun, but to do that, you have to show them the way. And that training trip by herself really shouldn't have done anything to show her the way. Just over the next 2 weeks, she completely did a 180. And when I went with her before the drone, 4 days before the drone, I said, wow, what a difference. I had moved her much like I did on the drone day the other day. Like, we don't even have to train this filly. We don't have to go to the drone on Thursday. I may not even put her under the drone. Why do I need to? She looks like a 3-year-old pacing filly training with yearlings, is what she looks like on the track. She really made everybody look bad the other day. She's just that talented. Now, she's small, very small filly. Is size going to matter? Because I can tell you one thing. She's got ability. She's got speed. Now, somehow, in such a short time frame, she's got this incredible intelligence where I've never seen a horse change this quickly. I've seen horses go from good to horrible quickly just because of conformation. Maybe they're sore. Maybe they're going through a growth spurt. I've seen that. I have never seen a horse go from, yeah, she's good, to this filly's incredible. In this short period of time, this Artspeak filly is probably one of the most impressive youngsters I've seen in quite some time. And yeah, you can spin it around and say, well, Anthony, you're talking like this because you have a lot of shares left in her. I do. I shouldn't. Shouldn't be any shares left in this filly after the way she looked the other day. Just, she's an incredible filly. I don't want to keep talking and talking and talking about her. I'm going to leave it at that. But if you can't see what I'm talking about, there's no point talking about it, is there? So, Fusspot, impressive. Impressive filly. Globe Trotting didn't look her best the other day. I'm going with Globe Trotting this week. Before the drone, 3 days before the drone, I was floored with how happy. I was very, very happy with Globe Trotting. This is a filly I personally picked out in Ohio. Thought she was one of our top filly prospects. Still do. Didn't quite see that the other day. Jason run up on somebody. She made a little break. You have to understand, this filly was sick for a while. We backed her off, changed her medication, put her on some stuff for her immune system. Much improved. Very, very healthy now. But she had missed that drone time, that set time, and less work was into her. And you could see that on display the other day. She come up behind somebody. She made a break. She was a little timid around everybody. She wasn't like that with me the other day, but we'd her dialed in pretty good. I'm going to go with her this Thursday. I really love this filly, and I'm going to see, hopefully you see what I've already seen in Globe Trotting. Gold Watch. This is another one of the horses that was dropped off here. Just now gated. This is a He's Watching well-bred colt. Good size. Looks really, really good. Very happy with what I've seen with Gold Watch. Going to get the hobbles on today, or had the hobbles on, I believe, today. Going to have him in a set for you to take a look at him on Thursday. He's not priced. He's not on the site yet. You can't see him. That'll be up to the breeder to do. And then we will start moving forward with Gold Watch. We got a couple of really nice looking He's Watching colts in Watch Ave and in Gold Watch also. So take a real good look at this guy when you see him on Thursday. You're going to have to try and use your imagination a little bit because it will just be 2 days after he was gated. But being an Ontario bred, certainly no concerns. I've mentioned a multitude of times what we want to do with the Ontario breds. Scale them back. I want them ready for July 1st, not June 1st with Ohio and Pennsylvania. So at some point you're going to see that separation take place where we start to throttle back the Ontario breds, push forward the Pennsylvania, Ohio, all the other jurisdictions that have a reasonable amount of time they deal with. I'm going to continue to say it. it's my 2 cents, and I can say as I feel, as somebody who races in every jurisdiction in North America, I believe the Ontario Sire Stakes program is too long. And but it's not my place to say. Nobody's really concerned with what I think, but we will combat that by simply having the horses ready a little later than we have the Pennsylvania and Ohio horses ready. So no concerns with Gold Watch. Harness AM, you saw something the other day, first day with the hobbles on. Danny said, hey, can we put the hobbles on Harness AM? I said, of course you can. Put them on whenever you want. So he put them on. What a difference. You saw him move her the other day. That's the thing, is that you have these horses, tiny self-conscious, making the few odd little breaks here and there and appear not to be focusing. You put those hobbles on them, just gives them those training wheels back on, and they sprint forward. Harness AM, he moved her 2, 3, 4 times the other day. Looked fantastic moving. I doubt she'll wear the hobbles forever, but she certainly looks good with them on the other day. No concerns there. Harness AM looked great. Another horse looked fantastic was Havana Ooh Na Na. This is a filly, Guccio filly, that the breeder Jim Baffey had sent to us. Really happy with the way she looked the other day. She's a tank. She's a big, strong filly. Made some breaks and was having some issues on the track. Certainly no issues now. She looks really, really good. Very happy with her. A horse you could see some progression. Hometown Boys. This is the full brother to Cruising in Style, who's on his way back now. The full brother to Cruising in Style, and he looked really, really good the other day. You could still see he's extremely green. Knows absolutely nothing, but better. I think the last video we made him, I believe everybody saw, bouncing around. He just wasn't doing anything right. The other day he still wanders, but when I moved him, he moved. And that's very, very important. So he's learning, very happy with Hometown Boys. I'll play it again. I never get to go with him just because he does everything right. What do you want me to say? I'll play it again. Gets A+ across the board. Moves quick. He's durable. He's bred well. Pace is nice. Got a long gait. I don't know. There's nothing to really say detrimental to this colt. I may not get to go with him for quite a while just because he looks that good. So you got to call a spade, and it is what it is. I'll play it again. Appears to be, for all intents and purposes, exactly what we're looking for. Another horse that's done it really, really good for quite a while is Inland Beach. I didn't get to show her off the other day. Stevie went with her. I'll probably go with her on Thursday. Really want to cut this filly loose. She sold out, obviously, but looks good. Actually, I think there's a couple of shares still on the site, but she looks real, real good on the track. We changed her shoes. She was learning to transition to go from a light steel shoe to a little bit heavier flip-flop. The reason we did that is she strikes the ground a little aggressively. We don't want her getting any soreness in her feet or her knees, so we put a set of flip-flops, pads on the back of her feet to help with the concussion of the track during the winter. Inland Beach looked great the other day. I think I'll go there this week and I'll cut her loose a little bit for you. You'll get a look at her the way I've seen her in the previous weeks. Jailhouse Master. I love Jailhouse Master. I'm not going to rave about him. He makes the odd break. He interferes a tiny bit, but he loves his work. And he didn't really get much of a work out the other day. Jason was pretty careful with him, which is fine. He was just a little careful with him. I'd love to go with this guy also. I'd like to be able to work him into my dance card this Thursday. I love going with this horse. You can tell when you put him in gear, he's actually excited to do his work. When he finds top gear and he's not interfering and he's clean at top gear, you can actually see him, his head will drop into his head check. He'll get a little cocky, get a little aggressive, and he'll trot forward. And he's actually a really nice horse to be around, and a really nice horse to train. And I'm rooting for him, that's for sure, because he is that kind of nice horse. Johan, you guys didn't get to see a whole lot of Johan the other day the way I've seen him. This is one of our most talented colts. 2 of the Sebastian K's in this barn are 2 of our most talented horses. They look absolutely fantastic. You know, you look at the other 2, Sebastian Ray, and I'm going to go with him this week. Sebastian Ray and Sebastian Yu, workers. They want to do their work. Sebastian Ray's got that little crankiness to him, but he'll work. When you chirp to him or roar at him, he'll dig in. I like the Sebastian K's very much so. I told somebody that today. And Johan, you're going to see soon enough one of our most talented horses in the barn thus far. Just for me and you, just for Menu, as I like to call her to Felix because it annoys him. Just a beautiful filly. This is a Donato Hanover filly. You'll see time and time again when one of these days when I spark her up and go with her, she'll look great. Some of these guys get out there and they're as lost as the horses are sometimes. They aren't drivers. They aren't trainers, some of them. They just go out and they put the work in, and they want to see the horses do good, but they're a little unsure of themselves too. And when you put Just For Me and You in gear and let her trot, she's a powerhouse. When you let her idle and neutral, she's just out playing. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't always have to be on their toes. And Just For Me and You is put in the work, and trust me when I tell you, a very, very nice filly. Knockdown Dragout, I don't have to convince anybody of her talent. She is a powerhouse. Only concern with her is her mind. She's got that, still got that attitude where she's not really sure if she wants to rip your head off or not. Not a mean bone in her body, but when she's on the track, she wants to go, go, go. She's another one like Bottle of Red, where you have to teach them they need to be in these settings full time, all the time, so that they understand. Eventually, they're going to pick it up and understand what they're supposed to do. You don't have to be ready to attack and pounce like a tiger all the time. Sometimes you need to relax. And so you'll see when you brush her to the front, she'll let you throttle her back, but when horses go by her, she doesn't like that. Another horse rolls up alongside of her, she gets a little anxious. That is what these set situations will do. We'll take that anxiety away and actually polish her in. Hopefully, but next year, by the time we get her to the races, she'll be a little more calm, cool, and collected. Understand that there is a time to attack and there's a time to absorb and relax. And that's what these set situations will do. So Knockdown Dragout, she is a killer, though. She's a very, very nice filly. Libero Hanover does everything right. Keep your eye on this guy. Again, I don't get to go with him. He was nasty the first day we broke him. He kicked the shit out of everything and has never done it since. And now has actually turned into a nice horse. He must have, I didn't think there'd be a way he would not be castrated. He's just turned into a nice horse now. There's how you can see the horses change also. When they have that don't come near me attitude, and then they understand what their job is, and they actually begin to like it. This horse began to like his job a long time ago. Probably around the 4th day we started hooking him and going with him. He hasn't acted up since, always got his ears up, and he's always moving forward. Libero Hanover, our Cantab Hall colt, looks great also. McPherson Thunder, this guy's a powerhouse. Big, strong colt, and I just want him to take his time. You know, Mario's done a great job throttling this colt back, keeping him subdued. I don't want to have to castrate him. I will if we have to, but he hasn't been yet, and he hasn't made that list. He looked like he was well on his way a few weeks ago, but much better pacing now and looks good. Mario likes him. Keep your eye on him also. You're going to see him get better and better and better. And when we really cut him loose, he's going to look like the horse. He's going to look like his brother, just a bigger version of him, I believe. Merzank Hanover, a horse I haven't gone with, but has really impressed me on the track with her gait. She's got a beautiful gait. She's a few weeks behind these other horses, so it's going to take a few drone sessions before you actually get to see what Merzank Hanover's all about. But Danny raves about her also. Donnie went with her the other day. Does everything right. Really nice looking filly. Master Treaty. Got a lot to do. Big shoes to fill in this barn. A lot of horses to take on. This is a vintage master. That's strike one. But at the same time, he does get a nice gait. He is a good-looking colt. We'll push the button at some point and really start him up. Right now, he's kind of in slobby mode. He's just laying on the couch eating chips, and he has to realize that there's work to be done. And we'll get to that. He does it well. Just needs to do a lot more of it. So Master Treaty looks good. Does his work well. Got a nice gait. Just got to work on that mental acuity moving forward. McNugget, it's a filly we crowd a splint. She looks good now, moving and moving and sitting and moving, and reminds me a lot of Twinsburg, the way she does move, which is a good thing. McNugget looks like she's well on her way to attack mode. Before, she was very defensive of herself. She was a little self-conscious in the corners. She didn't sprint until you really made her, but now she's starting to understand what her job is, and she's rather good at it. I'd say she's about 70% there, understanding-wise, but she's getting there closer every day, and happy with what I saw the other day, and I assume you'll see progression from her more and more and more as we go down along their training. Miss Brampton Beast, you didn't get a chance to see her the other day. Actually, probably a big reason, I'll be honest with everybody, probably a big reason we are going to drone on Thursday are the horses that I wanted to show off a little more. I want to show off Inland Beach, Globe Trotting, and especially Miss Brampton Beast. This is a filly with a lot of shares left. Shouldn't really have any shares left. I don't like pushing people to buy shares. These shares will dry up quickly, as they should. You're going to get a chance to see a healthy, strong Miss Brampton Beast. Mario lobbied very hard to not go with her the other day, and we didn't. We took her out. She was a last-minute scratch with a slightly elevated temperature, but she's healthy now, looking great. Thursday, I think you're going to get a chance to see why I talk about Miss Brampton Beast the way I do. She's just a really talented filly. I'm going to let her do the talking for me this Thursday. Miss Mischief Maker. I told you about Miss Mischief Maker from day one when I saw her at the sale and I saw the attitude she had, where she near attacked. She near attacked and hurt her caretaker. She's got that fight to her, that fire in her belly. She showed it the other day here. It was funny. What I love is the people that are unsure about, they've already made up their mind. They don't like a horse, or they're not going to like that horse. And then those are the people you see buying shares up of them. It makes me feel good about the work we put into them. And Miss Mischief Maker, clearly an extremely talented filly. And this is the filly that stood off a little bit. And people shied away from that. I don't know, you know, she stands off, blah, whatever. You can see what I'm talking about the other day. When I moved her, she loves to trot, and she is very, very good at it. So very happy with what I saw from Miss Mischief Maker the other day. Clearly very happy. Other people, and you know who you are, other people were very happy with her too, as her shares evaporated in seconds after her training mile. Very happy with the shares being bought and who they went to, and especially the horse, because I rather love this filly. Muscle Chrome, you see the progression of her. You guys that hung on to her and, you know, paid all those bills and kept her, and then we put her in the sale and she didn't sell, and you brought her back and everybody was worried what's she going to look like. Rest assured, she's starting to look great. We put the hobbles on her. She's starting to get it now. You could see when Mario moved her the other day how much better she looked, how aggressive she was. She understands what she's supposed to do, and more importantly, she likes it. She wants to do it. And you're going to see her get better and better and better and better and better. Her knees were a little issue. They seemed a little weak. But you can see, if you go back and watch the videos again, you'll see the first week we had a head pull on her. Last week we had nothing on her. She's running in a little bit. Those knees are a little weak, but they're coming. We got her on the proper training regimen. Very, very happy with what I've seen from Muscle Chrome. Nancy Allison. She's going to make the Dean's list here very soon, or the Principal's list. Nancy, little stubborn. Beautiful gait, strong filly, and very fast. Little stubborn, much like Fusspot. She is going to get some attention from me over the next few weeks. And it's not a bad thing. Listen, I went with White Tiger all last year for the same reasons. You could see an incredible amount of talent. Either I or James went with him every week. An incredible amount of talent. Just have to work on that attitude. I know you're fast, but there's other horses out there faster than you. And we have to work on that with her. She'll get it, just like he got it, but it's going to take time. Fast filly, beautiful gait. Just got to work on her stubbornness, but it'll come. Need your opinion. I want to keep an eye personally on this filly. So for Mr. Chappell that sent her here, thank you for trusting us and having the confidence in us to send your filly here. I had been very upfront with Mr. Chappell and said, you know, her breeding's not strong. Need your opinion's going to have to sell herself. She's well on her way to doing that. Just a beautiful filly. Everybody that goes with this filly says, gee, she's just a treat to go with. Just a nice horse. I hope she starts to look good. I really want to go with this filly, and I'm going to try to this week. I will eventually go with her and start her up, but I love watching her. We have two Are We Needy fillies in the barn. I like them both. They both are workers. They both paced from day one. Very, very happy with Need Your Opinion, and I hope I can go there this Thursday. Danny likes her, and if he goes there, great. And if he doesn't, I'll be going with her. Olympic Hopeful, just a beautifully gated filly. Very happy that we took those chips out of her hocks. She looks so much better now, comfortable on the track. She's a sister to a horse that I really liked. Guilty with an excuse that we had for a while, and very, very happy to see the progression of this filly, and especially the gait of this filly. She is beautiful. Getting ahead of myself. Overdue Mission. Haven't got a chance to go with her yet. I will. I promise I will. Just relax. This filly, it's just a beautiful filly. She's out wandering around, sleepwalking sometimes, and she really needs to have her engine started up, but I haven't got a chance to do it yet, but I will. There's lots of time. She's got a beautiful gait. There'll be lots of time to go with Overdue Mission. I'm talking like this because I don't think I can go with her Thursday, but she is on my list, and I will get to her. So our girl Overdue Mission, well on her way to learning how to do things properly. She got all the tools in the toolbox. Just got to tighten everything up. Next is another filly. Path of Totality, she's behind everybody else because she was sick. She's got a beautiful gait, much like Miss Mischief Maker. I haven't got a chance to really work on her hard, but I will. It won't be Thursday, but I will get to her. And Path of Totality is another filly like Overdue Mission that she's on the waiting list. We're getting there. I'll get to them throughout the coming weeks. But Path of Totality, beautiful filly, well bred. Certainly no concerns with her. Another filly people are peppering me with questions about is Pine Creek. Take your time. I've said it a million times. I'm going to continue to say it. Just relax. There'll be a time and there'll be a place to start pushing Pine Creek, and it's coming. It's coming quickly. Almost here, just not here yet. So Pine Creek, you're going to have to just have some patience for another couple of weeks till we start working on her. And it isn't that we don't have the time. It's that filly was too timid. And I could tell if we were going to push and shove on her, she was going to get angry. And I don't want to make her angry when she doesn't need to be. She's almost there. She sees all the other horses working. She sees what's going on. It's slowly sinking in. She probably led a very sheltered life when she was young, when she was a foal. And now she's in a very active situation, and she's learning how to do things properly. A horse that's already figured everything out. Really blue chip. Sandra went with her the other day, and she said, geez, she's on the right line a little bit, which she is, not a big deal. But man, oh man, she can fly. And no need to push hard on her. I trained her hard here about 2 weeks ago. She's a killer. She's lights out, and there's no rush with this filly. She's going to take her time with Really Blue Chip. Very, very happy with what I've seen from her. Rocking Out Loud. Mario likes her every week. She gets better and better and better. This is another filly. Had a few little minor issues, changed her shoes up front. And her attitude is changing. She's attacking when she needs to. Looked great the other day going, and I suspect that trend will continue in the future. Rooney Blue Chip, the last horse on my second list. Rooney Blue Chip looked great again the other day. Jeez, he's got a beautiful gait, doesn't he? We made a few little shoeing adjustments with him again, and he looked great the other day. Ricky was really, really impressed with him. His attitude, his attention to detail, his intelligence. And he was another horse that was late getting here, a little bit sick. We had to take our time with him. Look much, much better now. Rooney Blue Chip, very, very impressed with Rooney Blue Chip last week. Another horse, I'm assuming you'll see constant progression from this horse along the way. So that's the second set. I'll be right back with the third set in just a second. Now we're going through the last set of horses. We're going to start with Run Valiant. This horse just got loads of talent and ability and power. Probably going to need the hobbles at some point. He looked great the other day. Everybody says, no, he's good, he's good. When we're really kicking into gear with this colt, he's going to look impressive. We just haven't been in a hurry to polish him up, just putting miles into him and letting him understand. You can still see him when horses pass him, he'll look at them. When he's going by them, he'll look at them. Still a little immature, but at the same time, soon enough will be the time to put him in gear and then get him focused and moving forward. Just a really, really impressive looking colt. You can see that from when you see him. A full brother to not one but two horses that I don't know if Catch the Dream was a champion, but I know he's made almost $1 million. Took a mark of 151, and I've seen how good he's been the last 5, 6, 7 years in Ontario. Just an incredible animal. And then you look at his other full brother who wore hobbles also. His name was Sultan of Cash. Just a really, really nice horse. No concerns with Run Valiant. Just a matter of time before we start him up. Run Versatile, our girl, Amy and I's girl, just started her up today. She had OCDs taken out. Her first day jogging back was today. She is one beautiful filly. You're going to like what you see with her. We haven't put her on the board yet or sold shares of her, just because when we got her, we fluoroscoped her. There was OCDs in her hocks. We took them out. Now she's back jogging. We'll probably look for some partners on this filly moving forward. Amy and I obviously are a little partial to her, and Amy loves her, so we'll keep a chunk of this filly. She's Pennsylvania bred. She's a muscle massive, obviously. This is her only muscle massive of 2018, 2019, and we've had a lot of luck with them. We had Lawmaker and White Tiger. So Run Versatile is a beautiful filly. Looks good on the track. She can go under the drone in a very, very slow set. She knows nothing. She only jogged maybe 6, 7 times before we stopped with her and took those OCDs out. So you're looking at probably her 9th day cumulatively jogging on Thursday. But we'll see how she looks. She looked great today on the track. Sebastian Ray, I'm going to go with this guy this week. this Thursday and put him in gear and let him trot. Little goofy, looks to goof off and get out of his work when he can, but fast when he's doing his work. I trained him here about 2 weeks ago. He's all business when you put him in gear, and I'll be putting him in gear this week. Sebastian U, here's a horse that really couldn't trot when we first got him. Paced and galloped and paced and galloped. Now he understands his work. He really uses the hobbles, and he likes them. He uses them to his advantage. Some horses have them on and they help, and some horses really use the hobbles, and Sebastian U really uses them and enjoys having them on. I like this colt. I like everything about him. Very, very happy with his attitude and his work ethic, and he's just turned into a really nice horse. All the Sebastian Ks that we have, I'm really impressed with. All of them. You look at, I think one of our most impressive trotting colts is Johan, and one of our most impressive trotting fillies is Knockdown Dragout, both by Sebastian K. So, that was Sebastian U. Sometimes things happen. He looked great the other day, that horse trotting, eh? This horse with really long pasturance, and everybody wants to see him succeed, and I do too. And I thought he looked tremendous the other day. I saw him come barreling on the outside. I said, geez, you know, he's a big, powerful colt, and he looks like he's having some fun out there. So sometimes things happen, look great also. Spend that money. Another filly, I got a chance to go there once, but I need to go with her on a regular basis. She's just goofing off and running in, running out. Beautiful gait on her. Just a really, really nice filly. Her and the next horse I'm going to talk about, I get them mixed up all the time. Spend That Money and Spirit of Dio. I get them all mixed up all the time. They look similar. It's kind of similar names. And somebody said, hey, how was Spend That Money the other, or how was, Spend That Money the other day? And I'm like, oh, she was really good. Wait, no. I think that was Spirit of Dio. So, Spirit of Dio and Spend That Money look the same, act the same, are the same. Both fast, got beautiful gaits. Obviously, two very different jurisdictions, two very different sires, but almost like twins. Very, very similar. So Spend That Money and Spirit of Dio are getting it every day and look really, really good. Again, as we start to batten down the hatches, as they say, and tighten everything up, you'll see these fillies start to really enjoy their work and move forward. Both of them have beautiful gaits and look really, really good. Sunshine and Shade, wow. Beautiful looking horse to look at. Got those 3 big white socks on him. But a beautiful gait, great work ethic. Sandra, the girl that works for Mario, goes to him every day and loves him to death. He did everything. I started him up here about 2 weeks ago. Wow, what an impressive animal. Sunshine and Shade. This is a Sunshine Beach colt. All the time in the world to get him ready, and he looks tremendous. Susie K, day by day, she gets a little bit better. She was doing her work the other day. I noticed they didn't have any boots or anything on her behind. She comes close to one knee. Probably going to have to put some bandages on her behind next week, but looked vastly improved. And I think as she gets a little stronger, gets to use that hind end with a little more confidence, widens out a little bit to the point where she's not worried about brushing up on that knee, I think you'll see that filly really spring forward. She's one of these horses where I think you're going to see her be a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then one day she's going to come out and you're going to be like, wow, where'd this filly come from? And I think that's what you're probably going to see with Susie K. That's probably 2 months in the future, but very happy with what I saw the other day. A little bit of progression is still a little bit of good, and very, very happy with her. Talking Peter, much better. Much, much better. This horse had a horrible attitude about a month ago. He was pulling up at the gate, and he was just being bad. We'd already castrated him. What are you going to do? So we changed his bridle. He's got the paddling pacifier on now. You see him throwing his head all the time. That's because that screen on the paddling pacifier, it's harder to see through, and it keeps his mind away from the gate, away from the things and the voices in his head. And but trotting wise, wow, much, much better. This is a big, strong colt. If he decides that he just wants to flat out go wide open, he's going to be a nice horse. He's going to be a really, really good horse. So Talking Peter, very happy with his attitude and his improvements. Very, very happy with him all around. Two of a Kind, Hanover, another filly I got to go with. She's a little bit lazy. You know, she goes out and does her work, but the bare minimum. Always the bare minimum. Don't be too concerned. Twinsburg was probably the laziest horse on earth last year and really didn't show a whole lot of anything until we really got to the races. So I'm hoping Two of a Kind Hanover has the same mentality where it's, I'm just going to preserve myself and learn, and then I'm going to go forward. So Two of a Kind Hanover, a nice filly, but needs to do more, but she will in the future. We just got to start her up and get her moving forward. Trafalgar, this is the third horse that came in late from the Burgess consignment, and this is a Dally filly to Buckingham. Bigger than Buckingham, stronger than Buckingham right now. I don't know much about the Dally breed. I've driven a couple, I think. nothing really negative to say about them. He was a good horse in his own right. So this is a Dally, Ontario bred, sister to Buckingham. She's going to be going on the board probably in a week or so. Once we figured out how she looks, probably going to have her gated for you on drone day, but that'll be the first or second day with the hobbles on. So that is Trafalgar. Time will dazzle, one of our top students. Looks great every time we go with her. A lot of people complain because the doctor that bred the filly in center here took all the shares away. 99 shares were only one of our clients. Mary got a share in this filly, and I don't blame the vet. You know, he bought her back because she went for 25 American. He said it was way too low. He wanted more. We brought her here and broke her, and he said he wanted 60 Canadian for her, and people were like, oh, that's too much. You know, he bought her back. He didn't want. And then after he took all the shares away, everybody's like, well, where'd all the shares go? I don't know what to tell you. He told me he didn't want to sell her anymore. So one share was sold of Time Will Dazzle, and the breeder retained the other 99 shares, but I can see why. She is a powerhouse on the track. This is a full sister to CT Canabra that had a good year last year. Yours, if you want it, probably one of the two best Ohio-bred trotting colts. You know, last year we had an abundance of talent in Ohio from the trotting colt side. This year it looks like we had 2, maybe 3. Bendover's got a lot more work to do, so does Crazy Mission. You know, Talking Peter looks like he's got all the tools if he wants to use them. But the two that stand out are Run Valiant, obviously, a #1 spot, and I think a solid #2 spot is yours if you want it. Looks great also. Beautiful gait, great attitude. Does everything right. Exactly what we wanted to see. So, our two best chances in Ohio right now this second, I would say are Run Valiant or yours if you want it, but that can change at any point. Utopian, this is the Big Jim Ontario sired colt. Looked great the other day. I'm going to try and go with this colt on drone day on Thursday. I really like him. I like his attitude. I like his gait. I like everything about him. He's well bred. I want to get a feel for him on Thursday. I'm going to try and work him into my dance card. Next horse I definitely want to is Watch Av. This is a giant son of He's Watching. Beautiful colt. I trained him here in 239 about 2 weeks ago. He was a little bit sick the other day, drone day, so we didn't go with him. Danny said temperature's good, no mucus. He'll be a green light for Thursday, no doubt. Watch list. He's Watching colt. Not put together the greatest. A little bit small. He's another horse going to have to do the selling for me. Doesn't do anything wrong, but he's just got to do a whole lot right for people to start jumping in and grabbing shares of him. He is a good-looking colt. He's got a kind demeanor, beautiful colt, but some flaws. Some flaws to work on. Some flaws we can't work on, just some flaws he was born with. We're going to do the best we can over the next few weeks, but he looked good the other day. He made a big move to the front, and then he made a little break getting into the turn over here. I'd love to say I can go with him, but clearly I can't. I just don't have the time to go with this guy this week. Probably get Danny up on him or Mario to get a feel for him this week. Wiggle Delight. Sandra went with her. She's a total professional, this filly. Looks great. She's supposed to be. This is a sister to Mr. Wiggles, who made over $1 million and sired Wiggle It, Jiggle It. So, yeah, am I shocked that she's a nice filly? No, she's supposed to be a nice filly. She does everything right. Just a beautiful filly. Another horse you're going to get a look at, because I am going with him this week, is Willpower Fashion. My boy Will. I love this horse. He trained great here 2 weeks ago when I went with him. A little sick the other day. Couldn't go with him. He'll be going this week, and I will be going with him. Last and not least is our boy Zebs with a Z. Zebs Sunshine. Got a great gait on him now. We got him all gated up. He's looking really, really good. Very happy with what I've seen from Zebs Sunshine in the past. I know on drone day he had those big unsightly hobble burns, but they're all healed up. We switched his hobbles out, put a different set on him. They're landing on him a little more correctly, and he's a little more comfortable on the track. His gait looks good. He looks good. Everything looks good with this guy. Very happy with what we've seen from Zeb Sunshine. That's it. That's the babies. I think I got you in just under an hour, which is pretty good. It's 78 babies in under 60 minutes. That's pretty good. Zeb Sunshine looks good. All the other horses look good. No need to make top 10. You can see who looks really good. You know, there's a couple of horses that looked tremendous last week. We may not even go with them this week. There's no need, because they've already figured out that set mentality. Move, sit, and they're good at it. Horse like Fusspot, I probably won't even go with Fusspot this Thursday. Just need to Cooler Jets. She looks like a filly's supposed to look like in April, and it's January tomorrow. So, there's a couple of horses that may not even need to go in the sets this week. Just need to chill out and relax. don't need them on their toes all the time. So probably take our time with a few of them. Well, there's 78 in our barn. We'll probably have, there might be a couple that are sick down there. I know the ones that were sick the other day aren't this week, and that's the big reason we're going with the drone. Watch Ave, Miss Brampton Beast. Globetrotting didn't look great the other day. These are horses, and there's no shares left in Globetrotting, horses like that. There are some in, obviously, Miss Brampton Beast and Watch Ave. But I want people to get an idea of what I see in the horses also. Those are 3 horses I just talked about that are incredibly talented, and I want people to see what I see. So I'll be going with them this week. We're going to go on Thursday with the drone. As of right now, it's a go. I know a couple of people had said, hey, you know, those sets are pretty big with 10. It's 78 babies, and I don't mind bigger sets. Obviously, the problem logistically is making sure that people can discern the difference between Sebastian U, Sebastian Ray on the track. Maybe one has a white color and one has a gray. You can't see the drivers, and it's not like the drivers are drivers where I can say, hey, wear your colors. We're going to look at it a number of different ways and see what we can do. We'll get it. Don't worry, we'll get it. Somebody said maybe wearing different coats for the drivers. That's possible also. Maybe the same color as the back pads. Those are things we're going to look into, but these bigger sets, I don't think there's any issue with having 8, 9, 10 horse sets. Right now, it's just a matter of move and move and move. The bigger sets, the bigger the better as far as I'm concerned right now in their training. As we start training in sets, maybe scale back to where we were before in 6 and 7 horse sets, but we'll see. Right now, I like the way it went the other day. It's probably going to look a lot the same this week, but we are going with the drone on Thursday morning. So, Happy New Year, everybody! It was a great year at the stable. We had the video that went out last night, gave you a little look at how our 2018 looked, and hopefully you get to see how 2019 is going to look every day we go with the drones. So it was a great, obviously a great week for me. Amy had her baby girl. Adeline Hope McDonald was born. 2 pounds 9 ounces, 7 weeks early. Great weight lifted from my shoulders. I was obviously concerned with Amy's blood pressure jumping all around, and it was a scary time. But at the same time, it worked out well. Mommy's happy and healthy. Baby's healthy. And everything looks great here at TheStable.ca for the beginning of the 2019 season. So, that's it. That's your videos. I hope you had a wonderful 2018 with us, and we are going to try and make it even better in 2019. Take care.